Yo, welcome to another Brain Dead, to another car content episode. That's what I'll probably try to start calling these. Just when I'm talking about random shit in my car. But yeah, the topic I want to talk about today is living forever, and yeah, just longevity. It's a topic I'm pretty interested in, fascinated by, and so yeah, let's talk it out. It was on my mind today just because this morning I was talking to my mom, and she was kind of asking questions, kind of about certain things, longevity related, because she knows I'm into the topic. But um, up until, or like, just usually when that topic gets brought up, just wherever, just with like friends or family, or just, I don't know, friends of friends or something, like it's like there's a little bit of a weird tension in there, or like it's got maybe a little woo woo, or falls under like maybe like the UFO realm, or like it's not taken that seriously, I guess. And which to me, that's kind of sad, because I don't know why I'm confused why it's not more important to like more people. Like, it is relevant to every single person that has ever lived and like is alive today. Of eventually they will die, or we will all die. Um, Potentially that can not occur if certain preventions are taken, but assuming no intervention, all forms of experience will fade, and there'll be blackness, and like there'll be no more experiencing colors and tasting awesome food, and um, hearing things that you think are funny, and um, spending time with people that you enjoy, or like all that will not happen anymore. And to me, that's sad and scary, and like it's hard to even fathom what death is. Like, what you go, it wouldn't even be a black, just like eternal existence, because black in itself is kind of an experience. So it'd be even blacker than black, or like, yeah, it's like it breaks your brain to even think about what that would be like. And up until potentially now, that has never been an avoidable outcome. But this might be the first like cohort of humans to where that could be a choice. And to me, that is such like a extreme opportunity that every human that's ever lived before would have like loved, or like, for lack of a better, I guess, phrase, died to get get an opportunity to be a part of. Um, like that, it's just bonkers to me that it's not on anyone's mind, or like it's almost just like kind of pushed to like the background of like thought, and I don't even think about that. Like, even when I've like tried to bring it up, it's like almost like pushed back down, and it's weird, because what bigger opportunity has humanity ever been, has ever been available to humanity? And so yeah, I kind of want to talk about it because no one's talking about it. I mean, yeah, there's like David Sinclair, like there's people talking about longevity, and I appreciate that, and they're the ones that kind of like got me interested in it and like fascinated, like, yo, take this serious. Um, but my experience is it's not being taken serious, so that probably gets solved by the more people that talk about it. So I'm gonna talk about it. But so the way I see, or I guess I'll start with the immortality escape velocity. Like this is why I think that this is possible, that this is an option now, or it's a possibility for people that are currently alive, or some population of the people that are currently alive. Like, there'd be someone that's like 95 right now or something, and all right, it's too late for them, and that sucks. They almost made it, but uh, I don't know where the age cutoff is, and that's not going to be like, all right, everyone 30 and unders, you're good. Like, it's going to be a lot to do with like how you take care of your body for the next 80 years or whatever, and maybe even then you can't make it. But essentially, there's a concept called the immortality escape velocity, where if you're taking full advantage of science and medicine prolonging your lifespan by 1 year for every year that passes, or any interval of time, doesn't matter. Basically, you can never reach something that is moving away from you at the same speed or faster than you're moving. So like, say you're trying to like catch up to some car and it's moving 5 miles per hour and you're moving 5 miles per hour and you're 10 yards behind it, you'll never like close that gap. And then if it starts moving 20 miles per hour and you're still moving 5, then it gets even further away. Like, the only way you ever catch the car is if you start moving faster than it's moving. And so if science and medicine can bump our lifespan for as fast as we're aging, then death is never met. It's like forever in the horizon. And I think there's a chance that that threshold has already been met. And there's even a earlier threshold to where you don't have to die, to where the immortality escape velocity happens within your lifetime. And so basically, yeah, that's the threshold I'm saying that I think has been met. I don't think that science and medicine is currently prolonging lifespan by 1 year for every year that passes. There's like a certain like set of stuff that we've been like kind of finding that seems to like add some years on, but is it adding on at like a continuous rate of 1 year per year? It might be, but it's not obvious that it is, I guess. So I guess I would like refer someone to David Sinclair and listen to his podcast and just kind of dig into his stuff, because that's largely what I guess my source has been. But there's other people in the longevity field, and it's a growing field and more knowledge is to be gained on it. Like, I'd imagine that we're just scratching the surface, then almost like completing the collection of longevity knowledge to discover. So yeah, there'll be much more to come. But for right now, I've mainly kind of like learned about it from David Sinclair. But as I can see, it'll probably come in the category of like 3 different categories of like kind of interventions. There'll be like behavior, medicines to take, and then also kind of like medical procedures. So like in behavior type interventions, you can like exercise and do cardio and make your heart really strong, and try to not be frail in old age, and they do intermittent fasting, so you stay in like autophagy, and there's like certain things you can do every day that if you do this a bunch, then on average you're going to live longer than someone that didn't do that a bunch. And it's kind of just like things that will slow down your aging rate. And yeah, so like that's why I'm going to the gym and running a lot. And like, I feel like the main reason people are doing it is, yeah, usually through a health lens, but maybe like look a certain way, or like I like that too. Yeah, I want to look good and feel good, and it does those things too. But I guess my biggest motivation is make my heart strong and try to live as long as possible. Like, living forever is kind of my lens of what I do a lot in my life, I guess. And so yeah, you can do like kind of like physical things, do like heat shock, as David Sinclair would say, the term hormesis, of like kind of putting your body in the struggle and making it kind of have to work hard, and that essentially creates a kind of a stronger body, or a body more capable of trying to like repair itself. And instead of a body that just never has to do anything, then all right, why do you, like, it doesn't maintain itself kind of. And your body's something that has to be maintained. So in that in itself is like a whole cocktail of different things you can do. And we'll be finding more things. Maybe there's certain things that right now we think are important that like, oh, actually that wasn't that big of a deal. So it's still like a big field to discover and sort out. But then there'll be like certain medicines that you can take. Like it seems right now metformin's kind of like one of those main ones, or resveratrol, or there'll be like different like kind of compounds that we discover. Like, it seems when you have this in your body, you live longer. And like, I'm not on metformin or doing resveratrol stuff or whatever the other medicines are, or chemicals that we found. Like, I'm kind of waiting for that stuff to get figured out a little bit more. Like, I don't want to just be the first person on that. I'll let some other people be the guinea pigs a little bit. But it is kind of like shocking stuff, like people who have diabetes and That's like a big debilitation to your body. But if they're on metformin, are outliving like the vast majority of people who didn't have diabetes and weren't on metformin. So like even with this like big compromise to their like body's function, they are still outliving people that didn't have that. And it seems to be the kind of reducing to the metformin use. So I mean, I'm not on it, but it's on my radar. I'm going to be paying attention to it. And yeah, there'll be more stuff to come. So that'll be another kind of area of prolonging lifespan. And then actual like medical therapies and procedures you can do. Like there's Yamanaka factor, which is kind of crazy. You can like reset. Some Japanese dude figured out you can reset like any cell back to like original stem cell. And within like stem cells, there's different like categories and types, but you can reset like pretty reliably back to this certain type of cell that then becomes like the precursor to a bunch of different types of cells. And so maybe it's not like an absolute solution, because there'll probably be like certain cells that need to be reset to that other type that we can't turn it to. But maybe we figure that out someday. But so yeah, that's like already kind of like a piece of science that we figured out that seems to be pretty aiding to longevity, like being able to make your cells baby cells again. Like, I'm not an expert, but that just seems like if you master that, you can probably figure out a way to make someone live longer. But then there's also the other type of thing that's I think is kind of related that David Sinclair talks about, of like being like our DNA and our cells like are packed into like the chromosomes, and eventually those unspool as time passes. And like, I mean, DNA is essentially just like a string of information and code that your cells like use to refer to like, all right, what am I supposed to be doing? All right, I'm reading this little chunk of the string. And as that string like unspools and gets more like unorganized and tangled and whatever, the cells may start just reading the wrong part of it, and the cell operates worse then. Like, it has to be reading the right part to do the right thing. And so yeah, maybe like a heart cell starts thinking it's a skin cell, or a muscle cell starts thinking it's like a liver cell. Like, your cells might just start like operating incorrectly, and that's maybe okay, and your body can still operate if only like 2 of your cells have done that. But now maybe like at the point where 10% of your cells have like diverged from what they're supposed to be, like that's probably a big problem. So apparently there's now like a way to reverse that unspooling. You can just like rewind the untangling, and it's like you can recompact it to how it's supposed to be. And now the cells are just reading the right part of the DNA and should just be able to act as they're supposed to now. And yeah, we'll discover a bunch of other probably therapies to do, like, I mean, with CRISPR and gene editing, and like there'll be like, it seems like healthcare and medicine is on like kind of a new precipice of like new capability. Like there'll be like a whole swath of like diseases that we can just like straight out cure with like CRISPR and Cas9 editing, and there's gonna be like Cas13 and Cas14, and like each will kind of be capable of different things within like almost like tweaking the inner code of your body. And perhaps you can do that wrong and fuck yourself up, but just our ability to reverse what are like the faults of our biology seem to be vastly increasing. And with like AI advancements, with like the AlphaFold being able to like predict how any set of like amino acids will fold into a protein, and so then proteins are essentially the kind of like little machine in our body that does the shit. So let's just engineer now the exact proteins that we can then use to like do some body function or whatever. Like, yeah, our ability to manipulate the body is just like exploding, I feel like. And so stack all those things together, does that, and say you take full advantage of that and you prolong your lifespan by whatever amount of years that gives you. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, it gives you 30 years. Within that extra 30 years, is science and medicine going to progress even more? Like, is it on like some exponential rate now? Some like exponential curve that will just kind of keep accelerating? then in those 30 years, do you get like maybe a 10x of health and medicine kind of capabilities that then like push you another like 100 years or something like that? Like just by pushing your lifespan a little bit, you might be vastly increasing your chance of reaching immortality escape velocity. And so, yeah, I think it's important that people know that, because what other humans in all of human history has that even been a consideration for? Like, we are the first ones that can even like think, hey, this might be possible. And if you want to go along for that ride and maybe someday see the other side of the galaxy and go see another planet and see if there's aliens and other societies out there and civilizations and whatever crazy stuff you want to experience, or you didn't even think it would be an option, but maybe it is. Like, but you have to kind of pay attention to this stuff and try to go along for the ride. And so that's what I'm trying to do, but that's my philosophy around it a little bit. Maybe some people agree, and if you don't, then yeah, it's each person's choice. But I think it's a important like thing for each person to kind of be aware of, as like a choice to make, as if they're going to try to go for it or not. But yeah, I guess I'll end it there. But yeah, I just want to get people's noggins going and thinking like, hey, this might be an option, and I should look into it more if I want to be a part of that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna go to the coffee shop and start writing a little bit more now. Today I'm gonna try to write on kind of investment philosophy, how to, as I see it, what's the best method of being an investor? What is the most sure way of being successful at an investment? And yeah, which I think almost no one does. Like, but I don't know, it's about that. I'm kind of in the Warren Buffett camp, and kind of like Howard Marks, and those are kind of my idols within the investment world. But even then, I differ a little bit in philosophy. So I'm gonna write out what my philosophy is. I have a new one on there right now that I just posted like 2 days ago, yesterday, 2 days ago, just on markets and how they work, and kind of the uses for markets. And I kind of make an argument that I think we should implement markets more into the economy. Like, so I introduced this concept that I made up called the economic optimal price, in which it's a price that a resource will flow most naturally to the actor who has the most capacity for generating economic value from like that resource. And to the extent that we can have prices mimic that economic optimal price, the economy will just be in its best state, or most capable state. And I think markets is kind of an underrated tool for pricing. Like, it won't always match the economic optimal rate, and it'll like price things incorrectly sometimes, but I think it's a vastly better pricing mechanism than like essentially decided price. And I think we end up doing a essentially decided price way more than a market decided price. And so I guess I just try to argue that we should use markets more. And so yeah, that one's out there. Go read it. I'll try to make an audiobook version of it soon. But I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching if you did. Comment and subscribe, and I'll try to do more car talk type stuff, car content, and just talk about some wild stuff. And yeah, peace.